Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, presidential candidates are using the holidays to reach as many voters as possible. Plus, on the eve of the demolition, the families of 2 students killed in the Idaho killings asked to preserve the home, arguing that it may provide evidence during the murder trial.
Plus, Old Man Winter looks to pay a visit by tomorrow. Your first alert forecast coming up as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Republican presidential hopeful Nikki Haley's exchange with a voter at a New Hampshire town hall has kicked up some controversy and criticism. It comes just a few weeks before Republicans in New Hampshire will pick who they want to see face President Biden in next year's election. CBS's Nicole Skanga has more from Washington.
I do believe Berlin is now my favorite place.
Campaigning in New Hampshire Wednesday, Nikki Haley stumbled into a controversy when she was asked about the cause of the Civil War.
Well, don't come with an easy question or anything. I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do.
The questioner followed up, expressing surprise that she didn't mention slavery.
What do you want me to say about slavery? Next question.
The criticism of Haley was swift and bipartisan. GOP rival and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis weighed in today.
Not that difficult to identify and acknowledge the role slavery played in the Civil War, and yet that seemed to be something that was really difficult, and I don't even know what she was saying.
Fellow presidential contender Vivek Ramaswamy chimed in saying, "When you try to be everything to everyone, you're nothing to anyone." And President Biden retweeted a clip of the video saying simply, it was about slavery.
Wow, look at this.
Haley, who served as governor of South Carolina, worked to spin her answer during another stop in New Hampshire Thursday morning.
I guess if you grow up in the South, it's a given that it's about slavery. To me, it was about what freedom. What do you do? It's bigger than slavery. That was such a stain on our history. But what do you take from it going forward?
Haley has emerged as one of the leading challengers to former President Donald Trump,
thank you,
who remains the frontrunner for the GOP nomination. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, Washington.
Haley, who is from South Carolina, has struggled to answer that question in the past as well. She was asked about the cause of the war during a 2010 interview, and she said it was about tradition versus change. Republican Congresswoman Lauren Bobbert of Colorado will be seeking election in another district. In a video released yesterday, Bobbert says she will be running in the state's 4th congressional district in 2024. The district is currently represented by Republican Congressman Ken Buck, who is not running for re-election. In the video, Bobbert says switching districts was the right move for her personally, as well as for those who support the conservative movement. A bipartisan pair of senators is working to cap the price of insulin at $35 a month. Senators Raphael Warnock and John Kennedy say you should not need insurance to survive diabetes. Atlanta's Mutima Jackson Anderson works to spread awareness about the dangers of diabetes in low-income communities. She lost her mother to complications in 2006 and says it all could have been avoided with more resources.
She had no income at all because she had to stop teaching. She was not of age to qualify for Social Security.
Georgia Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock says it is a prime example of what he calls an insulin desert, which are counties ranking in the top half of the country in both diabetic and uninsured rates. The University of Idaho is demolishing the off-campus home where 4 students were stabbed and killed last year. Right before the demolition began, 2 of the victims' families pleaded with officials to preserve the home, arguing it could provide evidence during the trial. Their concerns did not change the outcome. CNN's Ivan Rodriguez has more.
We wanted to pay our respects and watch the house get demolished.
Crews knocking down the off-campus home where 4 University of Idaho students were brutally stabbed to death last November. Originally, the university planned to tear it down in July, but the plans were delayed until December when the school announced attorneys for the suspect, Brian Koberger, had been given access to the home in order to prepare for trial. Prosecutors also entered the home this month.
While we certainly understand that there are a lot of emotions around that house, and for the families especially, we also listen to our community and talk with prosecutors in the defense and believe that now is a really good time to go ahead and take that house down.
Before the demolition, the families of Kaylee Gonzalez and Xana Kernodle asked the university and prosecutors to preserve the home in case it provides evidence during the murder trial. The university says prosecutors told school officials the house is so substantially different than at the time of the homicides that a jury wouldn't be authorized to see it. The defense also didn't oppose the demolition.
That to me was a pretty shocking part of this, because that structure of the house, the fact that it's 3 floors, the logistics of how this horrific murder could have happened is of critical importance in the trial for both sides.
With the house gone, the university intends to create a memorial garden to honor the 4 students. I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Koberger pleaded not guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder. Prosecutors proposed his trial begin next summer. The number of people killed in Gaza since Israeli military operations began on October 7th has increased now to more than 21,300. That's from a statement from the Hamas-controlled Ministry of Health in Gaza. The statement also reports there have been roughly more than 55,600 people injured during the war. While gun violence numbers in 2023 are lower than the year prior in Louisville, healthcare workers there say they are still way too high. The Louisville Metro Gun Violence Dashboard shows there have been more than 400 non-deadly shootings this year. That's down about 7% from last year. U of L Health says doctors and nurses are still working on many of these cases. The Gun Violence Intervention Team also gets involved in shooting incidents.
Just the impact that it has, not only physically but mentally, we definitely do see that. Whether it takes a little longer for someone to kind of heal, because you have to be in the mindset to be able to heal. So that is when you even leave the hospital, we want to make sure that we are not only supporting someone's physical needs, but their mental health needs.
All adult gunshot victims are taken to U of L because it has the only level 1 trauma center in the region.
We are tracking some calm conditions as we go into your Thursday evening. Here's a live look across the mountains. And again, we are dry under a mainly cloudy sky as the sun sets on this Thursday. Those temperatures also cooler in the upper 30s and lower 40s, down to 39 for Jackson, also Irvin, 41 for Manchester, 43 over in Harlan at this hour. So once again, we are cool as we go into this evening. Up on the radar, we are dry as clouds continue, but notice as we zoom out, we are tracking this next weather system, this strong upper level low close to the Great Lakes, producing some wintry mix, also some rain and snow showers over Illinois, also Indiana, and this moisture will continue pivoting into our direction as we go into your Friday, also on Saturday. So we are tracking some changes in the forecast as early as tomorrow, as some wintry mix and snow showers are likely. The good news, temperatures are well above freezing in the upper 30s and lower 40s, so we're not expecting those big problems. However, some more snow showers are possible. A little bit of a break on New Year's Eve before possibly another weather system by New Year's Day on Monday. That full forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. A woman accused of shooting at her husband and his girlfriend faced a Scott County judge today. Natasha Hacker had a not guilty plea entered for her this afternoon. She's charged with attempted murder, wanton endangerment, and wanton endangerment of a police officer. Her arrest citation shows she shot at her husband and his girlfriend last Friday night. An officer then shot at her. No one was hit. Hacker is due back in court Tuesday. In Lincoln County, the city of Stanford's mayor has issued a state of emergency about the ongoing water situation. Mayor Dalton Miller says this has not been a situation that transpired overnight, but has been continuing for several months. He says the city just has not received enough rainfall during that time, causing the main reservoir they get raw water from to not be full.
Because we could lose thousands of gallons of water if it's a major leak before anybody can get there to repair it or before we can find it.
The issue is not just exclusive to Stanford. Other places throughout Lincoln County are experiencing water problems, and even some places in Casey County are going through it as well. Officials say they are not shutting down things like car washes yet because they hope a rainy winter will help them. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, a new year is a great time to examine how you manage your finances. We'll have some simple ways to start budgeting.
And we are dry this evening, but snow showers are likely at times tomorrow. Those details after this break.